Hello and welcome, Stand Up World, episode 52. Thank you for tuning in, streaming in, dropping in, whatever. However you got in, you're in. Thank you for being in. We have, say hello to Patrick Arnold here.
Hey, Mike. Hey, everyone. How's it going?
How you doing, Patrick?
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm excited for today. Yeah.
yeah, it's got a good day, and you're getting ready for the holidays?
Yep. Yep. I'm going back home to Connecticut next week,
Yeah,
reluctantly. But
yeah, yeah, what are your holidays? Is Xenon? Is that the one you guys do? Is you're
yep,
that part of that Xenon tribe?
exactly. My parents actually we worship the god from Pluto specifically.
Right.
So for
Right.
that.
That's what I thought. I knew it wasn't anything normal.
No, you're so progressive. You're all up to date on like even the astrology holidays. It's great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And well, I'm glad you're going to have a good holiday. And
How about you? It's Hanukkah right now, right? Happy Hanukkah.
yeah, it's Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah, and it's just a really good time to be a Jew.
Right?
You couldn't pick a better time to be a Jew right now. You
You
know,
really couldn't. Yeah.
it's really it's festive, and they're just shutting down the freeways and just saying, "Hey, we love the Jews so much. Let's just shut down this freeway here."
Yep.
And but it's all good. It's all good.
Right.
It all comes out in the wash. That's what I've always figured out. It all comes out in the wash. My mother is 88, which is 107 in Jew years, and
Wow.
yeah, that's so she doesn't like me making any jokes about her or Jews or anything because he has this feeling that everybody has her address.
That's hilarious.
And I just don't understand it, but they know what state she lives in, what city she lives in, what street she lives on. But God bless her. I know it's, a, it's an easy time to be scared,
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
and I love her. And my mother is. I never talked to you about my mother. She's 88. Like I said, she just turned 88. And for I'd say the last 10 years or so, maybe more, she figured out this way to make a living on the internet, and she does so good. I'm so proud of her. She'll like go to these estate sales at mansions and these 8,000 square foot homes where I guess if like the owner dies or something, they're going to sell it, so they sell all his stuff,
Yep.
all the stuff, and she buys this bread, these stuff cheap, and then she figured out how to sell it and package it and send it all over the world on all these different things and mark it up, and she's doing great. And
That's
then
awesome.
about a year ago she started making serious money.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going, wow. You are making money, Mom. What are you doing? And I'm looking into it, and I realize she's selling mansions and 8,000 square foot homes that she doesn't own to people around the world.
What a scam. That's a great job.
I go, Mom, what are you doing? And she's like, what are they going to do? Put me in jail when I'm 89, 90 years old by the time a court comes around? I said, no, there's no way they're putting you in jail. You want to know how I know that? No, how do you know that, smart pants? I said, because historically, I have not been that lucky. Okay.
That's funny.
But
Good for your mom.
Oh,
She's killing it.
she's so
Yeah.
smart. She's chipper, and the only way that she's going to die is if I put up her address in this
Right.
show.
Of a heart attack.
She watches it, but boy, I'm proud of her now. That she didn't really sell houses, but she's selling things, candlesticks, bedspreads. She's got a sharp mind, man. I want to be as sharp as she is.
Yeah.
When I'm her age, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. God, I have to tell you, Patrick, I'm so excited. And anybody who
I know.
watches this or listens to this podcast, And anybody that reads Stand Up World knows what I think of Leanne Morgan. I just have so much respect for her. She makes me laugh. I just think she's my idea of a great comic. You know, she's found her own audience. She worked hard on it. She she's just she's so authentically herself. And
Yep.
you know, her jokes, nobody else could do her jokes. I guess you could. You could steal her jokes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I could see you doing them, Patrick.
I could
But
easily. Right. No
no,
problem.
but no, that's not. I mean it. But she's so herself, and her audiences love her, and she would do these YouTube specials over the years because Leanne struggled and worked her way through the industry for a good 20, 22 years before she had real success. But she was doing YouTube specials that had 50 million views and reels that had like crazy views. And her audience is so loyal, and they love what she does. They relate to her. And the other thing about her is they just know she's real, and Leanne loves them. And
Right.
she's been a real inspiration for me, I have to tell you, And so when I asked her to do this and she said yes, I about shit my pants. That's all I'm saying. Jeez. And you know how I love to give shit to people that have an accent.
Of course. I was gonna say you got it down already.
You
For
know.
Leanne.
Anyway, so let's bring her on. Let's bring her on and do it. Do it. Leanne Morgan. Anybody that has been listening to this podcast, we're only 52 episodes in, but I've been writing this blog for a couple of years now. Anybody that follows it knows I talk you up all the time. And you're such a, I love you. Yeah.
Like,
I love you. And I
you.
love what you do. And I love how you do it and what you stand for. And, you're just, you're my kind of comic.
Oh, my darling. Well, that means the world to me. Thank you, Mike.
Leanne,
So,
I don't want to toot your horn too much before we get started, but I did tell, I think it was Jessica or whichever one of your PR agents it is, that I was like, Leanne is probably the most white whale guest that Mike has in his mind for the whole like. So this is big. This is big. You are the guest that we've been looking for.
and
Oh,
we've had some great guests too, I have to say,
Yeah.
Nate and Dane Cook and Tim Allen and Stephen Wright. But
oh my God.
You are
and
the
you know who
one.
else? You know who else we had? We had Brad Upton, who's your buddy, and we talked about you.
Yes, I watched that. I saw that clip, and that tickled me, my darling. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
in Springfield, Missouri, in a hotel, and I tried to put a light on me so I could look pretty for you.
You look real
You
pretty.
look great.
You're adorable.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know, you know, you know. What I love. I've been in this since I was 17 years old. I'm 65. And I started really young, and but I love tenacity. I love people that never took no for an answer, and I love my whole thing with this stand up world is people that made their own road to the center of town. And you are like a shining example of that.
Well, thank you, Mike. I've had a different kind of journey, a different kind of path that I had to cut out, but it worked out. It could not have been a better timing for this to happen to me. I've had three little children. They're grown now. I've got two grandbabies. And I've been doing comedy. I started when my baby child was 18 months old. She's about to turn 26. And I was in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. Uh, 32 years old. And, well, I mean, do you want to get into it? Do you want to know how this happened, Mike?
Whatever you want. I honestly, I know how it happened, and I think at this point everybody knows you just got great. But what I want to know, we can come back to it because my biggest question, where's it going for you? I mean, I look at you. I mean, you look so good right now, and when I see you on stage, you just still feel like you're having so much fun, and you're so appreciative of it. I just don't see you retiring or anything. I see you just barreling right through.
Well, really and truly, Mike, this kind of success did not happen until late 2019, and then COVID hit. So I've been working like a mule, but it's been really since like 2021. And so I think I've got some time left in me. I do, because over all these years, for 25 years, there was a lot of times and I say this in interviews, but I mean it. I couldn't get arrested. Nobody cared, but it was okay because I had 3 little children that was more important to me than anything. And this is the hardest I've ever worked. And I'm good. I'm tired, but I want to keep going. And I've just signed my 3rd tour deal. And because I'm on my 2nd deal, just getting started tour is what I'm doing right now. And then
You do your tours with Dorf and them, right?
yes,
I love Dorf.
I know. And see, that was the first club that I ever got to perform. And I opened for Billy Gardell. And I had just had my 3rd baby. And Brian Dorfman let me get up. And I didn't know there were drink specials. I didn't know how to do any of that. I had been to a couple of comedy clubs before I got married and moved to the Appalachian Mountains. I went to the Comedy Store. And my heart was beating out of my body. Little Dom Herrera got up on stage, and I thought, I can do this. I know I can do it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. But anyway, and I got to see
By
him.
the way, everybody that sees Dom Herrera goes, I could do this.
But I just saw him at Just for Laughs in Montreal, and I got to tell him that he was precious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to go full steam, Mike. I got to make money for these grandbabies. I'm trying to bust a move now, but this is the biggest thing that's ever happened to me, and it's crazy. Yeah. It is crazy, Mike.
Well, listen. I think it will go as long as you want it to, because one of the things that I see with you, which is so important, I feel, is this ironclad connection with your audience. And it's so sincere, that you really are. You're speaking. You're talking their language, and you love them, and they love you, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. A lot of people give him crap, but that's what Dave Chappelle has. Dave Chappelle's audience loves him, and Chappelle loves his audience, and he's talking to them in a way that they're hearing every word he's saying. And I think that you have that. And I think that the greats all have that, Bill Burr and George Carlin had it, so I really think I'm just always thinking, where does it go? Because like, I'll give you an example. Bill Engvall, we were talking the other day. He came on, and I love Bill. He's just, and he just filmed a special, which it's called, I think, something like My Last Special, and Bill's my age, and I said, this isn't your last special. You ain't retiring. I didn't want to be too negative to him, but I said, it's too good. You got it down, man. And I he's just, he's always been great, but he's better than he's ever been now, and I feel like comedians, to me, they die or get sick or something. But they don't retire. Not the great ones.
Well, I hope I can keep going. I'd like to do television. I've always wanted to do that.
Like a sitcom?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like a half-hour comedy. I just did my first movie this year.
Oh, what was it?
It's called You're Cordially Invited, and it's with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, that's great.
Honey,
did you have fun?
It came out of heaven. Do what?
Did you have fun?
I had a ball. I was scared to death. the first, few weeks, I was frightened out of my head and thought, I don't need to be here. I had that whole imposter syndrome thing, which I messed with my head since 2019. But yeah, I was freaked out. I didn't know how to. Fortune Feimster, who's a good friend of mine, was on the movie too, and she said, "Leanne, there's a piece of tape. Go stand on it and say your line." I had no idea how to do any of it, so it was very frightening. And then once I settled into it, I thought, "Oh my gosh, I love this." And everybody on that film wanted to see me win. Little Reese Witherspoon is a Tennessee girl.
Yep.
We had met years ago at an after CMA's party in Nashville, and somebody took me as a friend, as their plus one. Nobody knew who I was or anything, and I was watching all these people, and I was in awe of everybody. And Little Reese Witherspoon was there. When I say Little Reese Witherspoon, I mean she comes up to my waist.
Yep.
And beautiful. And we bonded. I could tell we bonded. And that little thing, I know that she was the one that did that for me. And I play her big sister, Gwyneth.
That's great.
And it was so fun. And Will Ferrell walks in a room. I'm sure you've met him. And you just don't even, I mean, he didn't even say a word and everybody bust out laughing. I mean, he was a doll. But I got to meet a lot of darling people, and Nick Stoller directed, and it'll be out in 2024. And it's called You're Cordially Invited. It's a wacky wedding movie. And so I hope I get to do more of that kind of thing. I really felt good. By the time it was over with, I thought, okay, maybe I could do this. And
it's just another muscle. That's all it is.
Well, I've realized that after I got in it. You're right. That's what it is. But
I've found, and I've worked with a lot of comedians in my movies that actors, and they're always great. They're always great, especially if you just pat them on the back and you're there for them, but they're always great, I mean, because comedians are talented,
So you feel that? You think I could do it, Mike? You think
of course. I think, please, you don't need me to say that. You can do anything you want now, I it's just what you want to do. But I think the gate's wide open. You just got to ride, figure out which way you want to get down now into town, You
don't. Well, when I think of you, I think of, and I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. I think of you as one of the cool kids. And for me, I always wanted to be one of the cool kids. And I was a mama of 3 little children in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I would meet every once in a while. I get to go to LA, and I would meet, and I would work Austin Cap City Comedy Club. And there would always be Comedy Central would come through and Just for Laughs. And I would audition for things and I would never get it. And, I was a mama with a pair of kitten heels on and a pair of capris with birds on them. And then there would be, these cool people, and they'd be talking about all this stuff. And I'd talk about somebody pooped on a T-ball field. And I was just so different from everybody, but I never felt like I was one of the cool kids. And I watched that on, is it on Showtime, about the Comedy Store?
Yeah, it was on Showtime. It's on Amazon now. Yeah.
Oh, and loved every minute of it.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I loved it. I watched it 2 or 3 times. And that was all the ways the cool kids to me. And I just wanted so bad to be at that table with y'all. And then for this to happen to me, and I'm 58 years old. I mean, I don't think age has anything to do with anything. I really don't. But it just is so sweet now to get to meet people like you that I have admired all these years, and just thought I was always on the outs, that I was never on the inside. And then
But you know what? Listen, I never felt like a cool kid, and when it goes like this and that, and you can be right here in the center of Hollywood and still feel like, man, I'm way out in the boondocks, and it's really just, and I have a son who's 29 years old, and he's breaking into the business and he's doing well, but he just and I just try to talk to him about patience and trusting God and just knowing you're in the right place at the right time and your moment's going to come. And just he's so talented, he really is. And but and he works so hard. But the other part of it is enjoying your life and vibrating happiness while you're waiting for it to happen. Because if you know, and I really believe that, because I mean, I've had a long career of up and down, but I've been working forever. I've
Yeah.
been working since I was 17 years old, you know, stand up, specials, movies, television, everything. But, you know, and I could complain about a lot, but I don't, you know, and I will tell you, when I got back and did the Comedy Store documentary, and I realized how the landscape had changed and people could just put up their own specials on YouTube and all that, and make their own shows and podcasts. I put up Stand Up World, and I got into you, and I thought you were great. The first thing I saw you do, you did this clip about the dog sleeping in your bed, which you know, I'm married 38 years. We have 2 dogs, and you know, they just own that bed. You know, it's really, they tell us where we're sleeping. You know, and it made me laugh so hard. I showed it to Diane. I just said, "This, she's watching our room." You know, and and then I just got into your stuff, and then I was going to do this thing at the Ryman for one of the festivals, and it just didn't work out. Our timing, my schedule, and everything, and and uh, and I had a couple buddies that I was doing it with, and Dorf said to me, "Well, I need that date if you're not going to take that date because Leanne wants it. She just sold out the Grand Ole Opry, and she needs another show the next night." I go, "You know what? It's God's will. Give it to Leanne. Give it to Leanne." And I was bummed because I was really excited to do the Ryman, you know, because I'm a big Nashville guy. I was there doing the show Nashville for 2 years, you know, and I love Nashville.
Like, wait, what? You were doing that show? What were you doing on that show?
I directed a lot of episodes of that show.
Of Nashville?
Yeah, I love Nashville. I love the city, the town.
Oh my Lord. And you mean the show on that was that on ABC?
Yeah, and then we went to the Country Music Channel.
Did you ever work with David Alford that played Bucky?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Little David Alford graduated from high school with me.
Wow.
42 kids in a country.
He had 42 kids? Wow. That's
His little
that's living in the country.
I could have birthed 42. I was so fertile. You wouldn't believe it. But okay, little David Alford and I went to high school, this little country school where a farming community, and we graduated 42 people. And his dad was our Methodist minister, and they had a dairy farm. And that little thing went on to Juilliard, and then all that he's done. And I was in speech and drama with him, and you know, he was so talented, and I didn't know how to do anything, but I could do improv, and we had a little English teacher that would do improv with us, and I thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But you know, I was in the country, and I didn't know, oh, I could go to LA at 18 and go to the Groundlings, or I could go to Chicago to the, you know, I just didn't even know, you know. But anyway, you're right about it's all in God's timing, because, and I think I am just so comfortable with who I am, and this is what I'm talk about, you know. And
here's the thing, you know, and I was so happy because you wanted that date, and it was great for you. And about 2 weeks later, I got Adam Sandler called, and I opened for him, and I was in Detroit, my hometown, at the hockey arena that night. I called Dorf. I said, how's she doing? She's great. I said, all right, cool. I'm here at the hockey arena, 20,000 people. I'm having fun. See how it works out, you know?
Yeah, see, Dorfman would rather be with you at the hockey arena. You know that.
Believe me, I know. but it's just life works out, and I also, I didn't do any stand up for almost 28 years
Because you were doing
because
all this television and
in
movies.
movies, yeah, and it just I was raising kids and a family and living life. There was only so much bandwidth, but when I got back into it, it's like you said, I'm so much better now because I just talk about my life, and and I just it's just such a when you really and by the way, I think that's one of the reasons I've always said this and why I like music and country music and song. I like singers, songwriters because they're just dealing with what's in front of them on the highway, on the road,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what's become great about comedy is the best stuff is the people that just go, this is my life, and are writing about their life and giving it up, and the people in the audience are going, oh, I totally relate to that. Like I related to your dog in the bed story and stories about you and your husband, and I remember you had a bit about the kids were mean to you and they were so nice to everybody else out there in the world. And that's the same way our kids were, you know, especially to my wife, my son, and they get along so great now. But I thought, God, the way she encapsulated that, the people in the audience are going, not only laughing. So that's a great gift. That's a great gift.
Well, thank you, my darling. Well,
You
and
know,
I go out.
there was a woman. Did you ever know Irma Bombeck?
Yes.
Maybe before your time a little bit.
Yeah, I know who you're. I know. Remember reading Irma Bombeck.
Yeah, she wrote books. She wasn't a stand-up,
Right.
but she really cracked that. She would play to your audience, because she talked about life and motherhood and marriage and just, and she was really funny too. She was a great writer. My mother loved her,
Uh huh.
but
Thank you for comparing me. But I do. I mean, I get out there in that audience every night. Like last night in Springfield, Missouri, and I've got another show tonight. And they stand up before I ever even say a word and blow kisses at me. But I think, Mike, these is I've got an audience that has been ignored.
that's
We're
right.
just so thankful that somebody is speaking to them.
That's right.
And I think Hollywood's ignored them. They're just everyday people out in the middle of the United States.
Yep.
You
Well,
know,
their own families have ignored them.
they're kids.
Their kids have ignored them. No, I listen. I know, and that's why I love Brad Upton out there, and listen. I totally agree with you. I really do. And the other funny thing is, like you say, Hollywood forgot every time they make a movie for that audience, boom, it works. But they keep forgetting that. It's almost like they have amnesia, you know. But that audience goes out to the movies. An older audience, they're looking to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
And when they make a good movie for that audience, for an older audience, kind of a smarter audience, even a middle America audience, do you know Tim Allen at all?
I've never met him, but
Oh, you
I've
guys
watched
would really like each other a lot.
You
You
think
guys,
so?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I had a deal years ago with Matt Williams that created Roseanne and Tim Allen
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement, and he would tell me about Tim Allen all the time, and I was fascinated. But I've never gotten to meet him. But I've always loved him, and I always loved the show, and I always loved all of his movies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a great guy. We grew up in Detroit. He was in my neighborhood. I knew him. I knew him long before we were in comedy together.
Really?
Yeah, he was about 5 years older than me. So when you're a kid, that's a big difference. but I've known him forever, and he and Dave Coulier and I all kind of started together in Detroit.
Oh my gosh.
So no,
Mike,
let
you're
me.
right though. I think that her and Tim Allen's audience. I feel like I didn't even think about that beforehand, but they're just sort of the
Absolutely.
middle of America, like hard nosed, just working people, like I don't know, respectful. It's they would. I don't know. That'd be a really fun show to do a Leanne Morgan, Tim Allen show.
Yeah,
Where's
that'd be
your?
great.
I was gonna ask Leanne, where's your like? Where's your people? Is it the South? Is it Southeast, or is it the middle of America? Is it Midwest? Is it the North?
Everywhere.
Where do you find? Yeah, obviously, but where do you find is like your most? I don't know, like
Well, the South, I can just walk out on stage and I don't have to say anything.
Wait, really? You mean you do good in the South? I'm surprised to hear that.
It's pretty wild in the South, but I'm in the Midwest. Wonderful, they're precious. Since the Netflix special, now I'm getting to finally go to like Boston and places I've never been. Seattle and Portland and those kind of places because they didn't understand me before that Netflix special. But that Netflix special changed everything.
Yeah.
good.
It did. And I'm so thankful that Netflix gave me a chance because think about it. They didn't have a middle-aged grandmama on there from Tennessee. They took a chance on me.
Yeah. No.
But they're glad they did.
No, you did all the work and they came in and scooped up the pleasure. But let me, you were saying that thing, Patrick. Patrick's in Boston, by the way.
Oh, my darling. I'm always going to go to the Wilbur.
Nice.
Wait, you're going to play the Wilbur?
I think I am. I think they're trying to add that. I've always wanted to because all the comedians go up there and play that. I want to.
All the cool kids play that, Mike.
Kids at the cafeteria or up there.
But when you were saying that about her and Tim, that is, you ever put you and Tim together, that's dynamite. Tim goes out, he just sells tickets like crazy. People love to see Tim.
He out touring.
Yeah, he is again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Will you tell him who I am?
I'm sure he knows, but I will. Yeah.
I bet he doesn't.
I bet he does. Everybody knows who you are now, Leanne.
I don't know, Mike. And if you see Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr, tell them who I am because I'm big fans of theirs. And I'm on a list of Pole Star for this year for touring, and they're on the top. I'm down at the bottom. But I thought, do they know who? I wonder if they go, who is this Leanne Morgan? I would just like to know.
They know. I promise you, they know. Everybody in comedy knows who you are, Leanne. You rang the bell. You're there.
Well, thank you, Mike.
And you're here. You're around as long. Just don't get busted having sex with some 15-year-old in a car park. Don't get me too'd. Don't get me too'd. And you don't need a scandal.
Honey, I've got too much trouble with my pelvic floor going on right now. Okay. I'm not going to be doing anything bad, and I hope I don't think I would get hooked on dope. I think if I got trouble for anything, people would go, she eats too much bread. And I've got to get off of that. When I was in that movie with everybody was so frail and tiny, and I thought, I outweigh everybody here.
Well, that's the worst thing, man. When I was acting in TV shows and stuff, they'd have that craft services table there all day long. I go, wait a minute. So there's a buffet all day long?
A wonderful buffet.
Yeah. But no, listen, the best is yet to come still for you. The best is yet to come. I hope we get to work together one day. I really do.
Oh, Mike, let's do that.
I would love it. I would love it. I think I just really think a lot of you and I just think I really do think the best is yet to come. You're just getting started now. I think you said that on one of your shows is called Get Your Tours.
That's getting started because I feel like I'm just getting started at 58. And I'm telling you,
I love that attitude. I love that attitude. I have to say, and I'll let you go, but like I say, I stopped doing this for a long time. And then I started going to lunch with a lot of my old buddies and they go, why, Mike? Why? And I think it was a gift for me because now it's all fresh to me. But I think it's so important to stay enthused, and to be thinking that you're just getting started, and the best is yet to come. And that's when the ideas come. That's when you meet, to be constantly expecting a miracle and constantly expecting new people and new ideas to come into your life. And I think you have a great attitude, and that'll bring you new material, and it's all great, man. It's all great.
Oh, Mike, thank you, you angel. But don't you feel like at our age, I mean, I just feel like I'm wiser. I'm, I'm more comfortable with who I am. I know people, like there's women in my audience and men in my audience that are going back to college, or they're starting a business, and it's just not over. I mean, I just think this is the best time to even do anything like that. You got more sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all up in here. It's all about your attitude.
Hmm.
Everything's about the attitude.
Yeah.
That
And
reminds me too. We kind of talked about this last week a little bit, Leanne. But like in the early days of comedy, as like a 20 to 30-year-old, it's kind of like a wild, wild west. You feel like it's like your rock star era, that type of thing. Like you're out late doing crazy stuff. How do you feel now as an older, like as a mom, grandma? You're like, this is just kind of my job. You're not really worried about staying out until 2 a.m. I'm sure. You know what I mean? You just kind of.
no.
It must be a little easier as a road dog when you're not partying 24/7, right?
Oh, my honey, and I never did, because when I got started and I was doing Camp City Comedy Club in Austin and everybody was high on marijuana, I had to get little children ready for school.
That's right.
I
Yeah.
never did go through that. I did horrible things in the 80s and at the University of Tennessee. I, I did horrible things. And
Let her talk all she wants, Patrick. I guarantee you, she does these big concerts out there in the Leanne Morgan suite back at the hotel. They got the crack pipe
Cool.
going,
Oh, yeah.
and it's
Oh, yeah.
just a crazy scene. Okay.
no, I'll tell you what it is. It's a bunch of supplements. I come home and take a handful of pills. They're not prescription pills, but I take. I'm worried death about my vitamin D, my
Yep.
B12, a good probiotic. That's what I'm going. I buy too many probiotics on Instagram. That's my problem. If anybody wants to
I
cancel
love
me,
it.
they're
I
like,
love
Leanne's buying too many probiotics. I, but when I got started, San Antonio had a comedy club that was a nightmare in the mall. And I would go to that, and they would put me up at midnight, and everybody was high on marijuana and drunk. And I was in that kitten heel in a capri with birds on it with a bob. And I would get up and talk about little children, because my children were 3, 5, and 7 when I started doing clubs. And I was just so different from everybody. And a few of the young boys would say nasty stuff to me, and I wasn't used to that. I had a husband and children, and I was a very different from everybody else. But if I had done comedy in the 80s, I would be hooked on dope, probably hooked on dope, still smoking cigarettes, drinking Diet Coke. Even though I did have a Diet Coke today. I did. But I was
That's gonna get you me too.
It's no telling what would have happened to me if I had started in the 80s. And that's a God thing. God knew I could not handle it. And so he waited till I got to be a 58-year-old
Right.
woman.
And now all you need to
Well,
bring is
that's
this.
what I did. I did get started, and I got into all that, and I'm 39 years sober today. Not today, but right now. And I'm 39 years sober because so everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
It does. It really does. And I look back on not getting those sitcom deals, because I had 4 deals over the years, even though I could barely get booked and nobody cared, and people in comedy clubs didn't know who I was. Comedy Central didn't care about me, didn't want me. I would get these television sitcom deals, and then they wouldn't make it. And then I would get depressed and I would just be devastated. But I look back on it now and I think, oh my gosh, I got to raise my own children. When I was on that was God's timing and God's protection over me. When I look back, I mean, when I was on that movie set, Reese and all those people would say, they'd look at me and they go, you got to raise your own children. You've had the best of both worlds. And I have. I got to raise them in Knoxville, Tennessee. They became who they were supposed to become, and They're
If
no.
you did a sitcom, would you? If you did a sitcom, you'd shoot it out there, right? You wouldn't come to Hollywood and do a sitcom.
They tell me I need to come to Hollywood.
That's wrong.
You think I could shoot it in?
You can shoot it anywhere you friggin' want to shoot it.
Because some people told me, Mike, that I could do it in Nashville if I.
Yes, you can. Of course, I'm telling you. You should see how we shot Nashville there, and they have the best crews, the best actors, the best everything. You can shoot. You don't know. I would say don't go to Hollywood. That's not going to be good for you. Shoot it in Nashville. Go do your thing.
Well,
Go
that
do
would
it.
be wonderful, honey, because I've got 2 grandbabies that I'm in love with. They're 6 months old and
Yes,
3.
yes, yes. Just do it right there, right wherever you are. It's a new world. There's no Hollywood. It's no place for you. I mean, look at my buddy Dave Coulier is about to do a show right in Detroit, where he lives now.
Oh,
Y-
wow.
And it's just you gotta. Plus, you're Leanne Morgan, man. Make them come to you. Okay, I'm not gonna. Enough said. I already told Bill Engvall not to retire. You know,
I love Billy Bowl. I got to open for him a long time ago, and he was darling. All those boys, though, Jeff Foxworthy, Larry the Cable Guy, they're all precious.
yeah, and you all sound alike, so it's good. You
And
all
this
got
is all
that.
real.
What?
This is all real. People, I get a lot of comments. They go, that accent could not be real.
No, it's real.
Right. It is real. I don't have the strength and the willpower to change this.
I always tell the story, and I'll tell. Did you ever know a comedian named Ollie Joe Prater?
I never knew him, but I know who you're talking about.
He was my buddy, and he was from Jackson, Michigan. And he was Ollie Prater. His real name was Gilbert Hartzog. And I was with him the day we were watching football with Charlie Hill and Argus Hamilton, and he put on this big old cowboy hat and started talking with an accent. And we were drinking, and he went to the Comedy Store that night, and he went on stage, and he just told Charlie Hill, introduce me as Ollie Joe Prater. And he walked on stage and played that cowboy and did the same act with an accent, and it killed. And he never stopped talking in an accent again. So
I did not know that.
But so I know a fake one. But no, you're the real deal, Leanne.
Oh, Mike. Well, honey, you have my love language is words of affirmation, and you have filled my love tank today.
Yeah.
And it needed to be filled because my husband does not do it like he's supposed to. So thank you, you angel. Because I was in Hollywood a couple of days ago and had a really good meeting, and I called him and said, this really went well. And he went, oh, good. Okay, where are you going? And does Augie, the old beagle, need his heart medicine? Give him that before you leave. So I need
my language.
Information.
Yeah, yes. You just do it. You just do it your way. You're doing great. Keep doing it.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you. And I am a huge fan. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could be together? Tell Brian Dorfman.
I'd love it. No, I'd love to work with you one day. I'd love to work with you. I would have you in one of the movies.
I would love that.
It'd be so much fun.
Thank you, my darling. I would love that.
Well, if it's supposed to happen, it will. We'll do it.
Okay.
All right. I love you.
I love you, Mike. I'm so thank you little doll. And y'all have a wonderful holiday season and Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
You too. Have fun tonight.
Okay, my darling.
All right. Episode 52 is in the can. I love Leanne Morgan. She is great. Am I right? Is everything that I told you?
Yeah, you were right. I've seen her on a panel at JFL this summer. Obviously great, and she's a hilarious comic, but just talking to her was just, wow. So much charisma.
Yeah, she's so pretty. She just got an energy about her, I love it, and I love her attitude, and I I didn't mean to lecture her, you know, but
No.
I do hope, I think, man, I think she could have a huge sitcom, but do it on your, where you want to do it, how you want to do it, exactly tailor it with your people, get Nashville writers, just do it your way. Don't listen to any of these bean farts, you
Yep.
know?
Right.
But, so that's it. Leanne Morgan and, wow. So hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the show. I'm in La Jolla this weekend. And there's a show Sunday night too at the Comedy Store, the beautiful Comedy Store, one of my favorite clubs. And there is a Sunday night show now. So, and some tickets are available. So if you're getting this and you're seeing it, come out with the legend, Pauly Shore,
That'll be fun.
my buddy. And that's it. Have a great week. Thanks again hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. And we have a great one next week too. But we're calling it episode 53 because we just want to be different.
Right.
Right?
That's exactly.
Right, Patrick?
How to be unique.
Yep. And Patrick, we're sending him to math school. So as we get into some of the later episodes, he can keep up with the numbers, right?
Yeah, you wanted to keep me honest. Could have got tricky there.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Have a great week. Thank you very much.